Out of the thousands of bottles that I currently own in my collection, these are 12 that mean the most to me and I love the most. They may not even necessarily be the ones that I wear the most. I already did a video on that. And there's a difference between wearing something all the time because you really, really like it and it's just something that you can pull off in a lot of situations versus things that you treasure a little bit more and things that you maybe don't wear as often as some of the other stuff in your collection. Maybe it's a little bit harder to pull off. Maybe it's super rare, discontinued, hard to find or whatever. But it's still the scent that really just resonates with you and is something that is very special for you. That's kind of more so what we're focusing on with this version of that previous video. So unfortunately, with that being said, there will be a few in here that you can't really buy anymore, at least all that easily. Prices have gone up, they're discontinued, they're rare. However, I always like to make an exception to that rule where I normally don't feature that stuff in regular videos, but for more personal videos like this, I'm not going to exclude them because that would essentially not be giving them the fair chance to be in this video when they would be otherwise, because these are really good. Most of these though you can still get easily, but there's a couple again that are a little bit harder to find right now. And so I will link all of these down below if you want to pick any of them up for yourself. And for the ones that are a little bit tough to get, if you get on my mailing list at the first link down below, as soon as they come into stock, you'll be able to pick one up for yourself because I send out an email notification each time any of these rare, discontinued, hard to find things show up. Happens more often than you think. A lot of times you might just miss it, but if you get on that list, you'll be able to get them for yourself. Now, we'll actually kick this one off with DIOR Homme Parfum. So it's not discontinued. However, the availability here in the US and Canada as well, I believe, are just incredibly limited. So it feels like it's discontinued, even though I'm pretty sure overseas you could probably buy this anywhere. I don't know why that is, but that's how it is, and it really sucks. This was my first bottle that I ever got, and yeah, I have worn a good amount of it, okay? However, anymore, it kind of gets pushed towards the back of my shelf, and stuff like DIOR Homme Intense, Valentino Homme Intense, and other popular iris scents get worn a little bit more. That being said, each time I go back to this one, it just rekindles that spark that I have for it. And each time I smell it, to me, it's a masterpiece. It's a beautiful 10 out of 10. I should find some more time and sneak in some more wearings of this one. Oftentimes, though, I just get a lot of enjoyment out of picking it up and smelling it like what I just did there. I'll come down here and do this all the time, you know? So, you know, it's something that I still enjoy even though if I'm not actually wearing it on my skin. That being said, for me, this is one of the best designer fragrances out there. It just sucks that it's really hard to get. Now this one does have iris, of course, but also some leather, some oud, a little bit of rose, a little bit of orange, I believe. So it's sweeter, it's heavier, it's creamier. It's basically DIOR Homme Intense, but just amped up as far as you could possibly take it. And I love it for that reason. It's a little bit polarizing, not going to be for everybody, but for me, this is it right there. Now this next one, we have ROJA Parfums Creation E. This is the Parfum concentration here, which I've worn a few times. I also have the Parfum Cologne, which I've worn heavily. I'm cheap, and so I tend to wear the Parfum Colognes more than my Parfums, even though, you know, this will last me a lifetime as it is. I might as well wear it more, but generally the Parfum Colognes are getting more wear from me. I just feel less of that pain when I spray them on because it doesn't take too many sprays out of one of these 50 mLs for the level to start going down. It'll get away from you pretty quick because I've worn through a ton of my Elysium Parfum, and I mean, it goes down quick. That being said, this DNA is just one of my favorites. I love it. It's really all about the tobacco, the boozy accords, and some vanilla. It kind of has this Coca-Cola fizzy root beer type of smell, or maybe not even root beer, but Coca-Cola, kind of soda fizziness going on in here. Really unique take on essentially a tobacco scent, and you do get a ton of that tobacco as well. It's elegant, it's refined, it's classy, and I mean, just looking at the coloration of this stuff, it'll tell you everything you need to know. Personally, guys, for most of you, go out and get the Parfum Cologne and pay $290 versus paying $485 for this, because you might be more inclined to wear the other because it is cheaper, but it's still not cheap. This is like crazy expensive. And again, that's why I don't wear as much out of this as I do my Parfum Cologne, although I have to admit, this bottle presentation definitely is the winner between the two. I mean, just looking at that, that's just great. Next up, we have Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé. I love this. I think this is one of their best works in the line. I have this smaller bottle because when it first came out, that was all that was available on the official website. The 100 ml already had sold out, and so I knew I wanted to get this one in ASAP, and so I went for it. This will be plenty fine for quite a while still. I've already put a healthy dent in it over the past winter, but at some point I'll just go up to a 100 ml because I'll want to have a backup of this anyway. Now it's got iris. Yes, I love iris. There's a little bit of whiskey in here, which I like. Some chestnut. So it's kind of a more gourmand take on that DNA with a splash of a boozy accord, which I think is phenomenal. It was a genius idea, and this one has quickly become hands down my favorite in the line. You know, the Eau de Parfum, OG Eau de Parfum is right behind it, but this one takes number one, and it didn't take long for it to get to that spot. I love this stuff. Not only did I wear it a lot and do I wear it a lot, but just in general, it is one of my favorites right now. Amazing stuff. Moving along, we have Stronger With You Absolutely by Emporio Armani. So this one is one that I had to go ahead and get a backup bottle of because I was getting a little bit nervous about it. I think it might be a similar thing to DIOR Homme Parfum and other things of that nature, where in the US and Canada it's limited, but overseas it's, you know, no issue getting. So I don't think it's technically discontinued. It's just super hard to get here for whatever reason. That being said, I went ahead and got myself a backup bottle anyway, so that way I could just feel better about it, I guess. Now this one has a little bit of rum in here, tonka bean, vanilla. It does also have a nice signature chestnut accord, which is utilized in this Stronger With You lineup. This one is by far the best one to me personally. I mean, Stronger With You Oud is also great. The leather exclusive edition is fantastic as well. They're all really good. This one is just my favorite because of that boozy accord. The fact that they made it a little bit more mature without making it too far away from the Stronger With You DNA. I think there is a balance that you have to achieve when making flankers, and I think they did it perfectly here. It's not to the point where it's something completely different, but it also isn't redundant either. They hit it nail on the head. It's a parfum. It's got great performance. This one is just, it's one of my favorites. And yes, it might be looked at as a basic scent, but I love it a lot. Next up, we have Dolce & Gabbana The One Royal Night. So I took a chance on this one when I bought it, and I just went for the 150 here. You know, it was a blind buy. I knew I would at least like it because it's the one, you know, but when I got this one in, quickly I realized I made the right choice with this bottle size, and I haven't regretted it since then. This has become one of my favorites. Now, it's between this and Luminous Night. It's really hard for me to choose. So, you know, I just kind of went on this one, but it could be either one. And even the original Eau de Parfum, they're all really good. I can only choose one. I just kind of landed on this one for this particular video, but they're all great. So this one does have sandalwood, has some cardamom going on in here. The one thing it does not have, which is a bummer, is the tobacco accord, and so there's a little piece of it missing. However, it really makes up for that in just how smooth and creamy this one is, and also the performance is significantly better than the Eau de Parfum. So this one really takes it up to the next level. You could layer them both together. This one's a little bit more soft and better for close encounters. It's just quickly become one of my favorites in the line. Another one that's a little bit tough to get sometimes, Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Extreme. Another one that's backup bottle worthy for me. I've got one. This is it right here. I went ahead and was able to track down one of, I think this is the old style, I guess. I can't keep track. They've changed the bottle so many times, but I was able to get one of these off of eBay. I was pretty excited about it. Now, I don't know of a difference between them. Maybe that's something I'll try to dive into and do a video on if there is interest for it. But ultimately, I just kind of wanted to have this look because I think this is kind of the best looking one. I was able to pull it off. Is it worth going out and tracking down these other bottle styles? Probably not. I'm sure the scent is 99% the same or exactly the same, but if you're weird like me, sometimes you just have fun doing that stuff. Really what this one is all about is the plum, the tobacco, and of course the almond. There's some leather in here as well, a little bit of vanilla. But what this one has going for it is that plum tobacco mixture, which is super unique. It sets it apart, but it still ties back to the original and the eau de parfum with that almond. This is unlike anything else on the market, and that's what attracts me to it so much. Beautiful scent and worth getting a bottle of. This has actually been popping up a lot here on FragranceNet, 50 mils and 100 mils. Each time I did, I sent out a mailing list email, so make sure you're on that list if you want to be able to get stuff like this. Gotta have Parfums de Marly Layton in the video, or honestly, for that matter, any of the good clones. Al Haramain Detour Noir, perfect example. If I, didn't have a bottle of Layton and I didn't want to buy one, I would have no issue with just staying with Detour Noir, knowing what I know now, because I have a bottle of Layton. I've worn this many times. I've also worn several of the clones many times, and Detour Noir is one that is fantastic. It's $35, and personally, you don't even necessarily need the real deal if you are on a budget. That being said, just for the sake of this video, I got to throw in the real deal, give credit where credit's due. I love the DNA. It's one of my favorites. It's another one that's kind of just going to be labeled as basic. I know you've smelled this type of thing before, but that apple, vanilla, cinnamon mixture is unbeatable. It's done to perfection in this stuff. Great quality, great performance. I'm hooked. MANCERA Intense CEDRAT BOISE. This is right around $100, I think. Sometimes $120 on discounters. It does retail for a little over $200 or maybe right at $200. So you're saving pretty good money on discounters if this is in stock. What this does is it takes that original DNA, which these days has been known to not perform as good, and they amped it up. You get an extrait concentration. You get more richness, more depth, a little bit of oud going on in here, slightly, not too much. It's nothing to worry about. But if they just take this DNA and they refresh it, they bring it back to life, they make it even stronger than what the eau de parfum was in its peak, which is crazy. I mean, this is performance for days. You don't have to worry about it. And for some, it could even be too strong. This is the one to get. I'll take the Intense over the original eau de parfum any DNA or any day. I love this DNA. CEDRAT BOISE, for those who don't know, was my first ever niche purchase ever. The eau de parfum, my bottle is like down to here on that original one. This scent is just special to me, but the Intense, it kind of has won me over. Another one that is, this kind of goes hand in hand with me. Like I'm sure most people who have been watching the channel knows that this is one of my favorites of all time. On the designer side, it's AQUA de Joe Profumo. I mean, this bottle is down to about there. I have like 7 or 8 backup bottles, maybe close to 9, a ton of them. And I don't regret that one bit, because this one is kind of sketchy sometimes. It's out of stock, all sorts of weirdness going on. Who knows? I just know for me, I will never take a chance of coming close to running out of it, because legitimately, this is one of my favorites of all time. I love it. It's got sea notes, incense, patchouli. It's a nice smoky aquatic, which you don't get every day. And even though this has been out for some time now, there still isn't anything else out there that's really like it, aside from Lattafa Secret, which is a clone of this. So big, ups on them for cloning this. I'm glad to see it, even though I love this. It's cool. It's affordable. But just in general, there isn't really anything else doing it like this, and I love it. Got to have me some SPICEBOMB Extreme. It's one of my go-to winter scents. Smells like the holidays, smells like Christmas. It's all about the tobacco, the vanilla, the black pepper in here. It's very spicy, and it's no surprise. So if you're not into stuff like that, you're going to want to pass this one up and go on to the next. But if you do like essentially just really nice tobacco vanilla scents, then this is one you should look into. That spiciness is just going to come along with that type of thing. It's not just going to be from this. A lot of scents that are using notes like that are going to have a warm spiciness to them. That's just how it is. But it really suits this well. It smells beautiful. Quality is great. The performance is great. It's unique for what it is. This is a gem of a scent. Second to last one, talk about something unique for the price, and talk about a designer brand going out of their way to give us something really cool and interesting. I have a ton of respect for this brand for doing this. Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Forever. The light blue line was failing, in my opinion. I really do think they peaked with O Intense, and it has been going downhill ever since that release, legitimately. And then Forever came out, amazing. It's all about the grapefruit, the violet leaf, the ozonic notes in here. But again, it's all about the grapefruit. I want to reiterate that because this is a grapefruit bomb and it's realistic. So if you are going to be sketched out by that, if you are not ready for a truly realistic citrus scent, some people say it smells like BO. I think that's kind of a stretch, but you know, to each their own. Then you're going to want to be careful going into this. Luckily on discounters now, this is more affordable than it used to be. $60, $65, somewhere around in there. It's not a cheapie, but you get a lot of product for the price, and it is one of my favorites for the summertime. I think it's great. And last up, another one that's hard to get, but I love it, and I had to throw it in because it's one of my favorites for summer as well. AQUA Atlantique. You know, rarely do I get to hold this up anymore, and it's sad because I used to get to all the time. Whenever I wanted, I could feature Atlantique. You could get it for $40, $50. Great bang for your buck at that price. 12 plus hour performer, compliments for days. One of my fiance's favorites. This bottle, as you can see, I don't know if you actually can see it or not. It's kind of right down there at the gradient if I hold it this way. There you go. Yeah, this bottle is pretty pathetic looking at this point. Don't worry, I have backups. I made sure of it as soon as this one was discontinued and still is. I don't normally do this, guys, but you know, this video, it's a personal one. And legitimately, this is one of my favorite summertime scents. It is amazing to me. One of my favorite blues, one of the best performing ones. I just love it and I gotta have it. And I will continue to wear this one in the summertime going forward. I shouldn't run out for years. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. 12 of the fragrances that I love the most out of my 1,000+ bottle collection. These mean a lot to me in one way or another. I think they're amazing. Some I don't get to wear as much as others. It's just kind of how it goes. Sometimes they're just a little bit hard to pull off. Sometimes they're so rare that I cringe spraying them, but it is what it is. They're still fantastic. And for a lot of these, almost every time I'm down here, I pick them up and smell them. Sometimes at different times, sometimes on different days, but I'm always kind of rotating through and at least picking them up and smelling them off the atomizer because I think they're great. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Links will be down below. Deals will be going out to my mailing list as well. If you want to get any of these that are rare, that's the place to be. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.